Hi everybody. Today I'm going over a big project. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a real glorious project, but it's a big project nonetheless. I finally got enough transparent pieces to add water to all of the oceans surrounding my 3 islands in my village. And as you may know, it all comes apart in modules like this. So this is one module, and it has a little lip on it. So it stays on the table, and I've got it here just like this. So I'm going to go over how I developed a pattern for the wave action, but yet be able to go ahead and put these together. I'm using primarily 1x2 translucent plates, and as you can see, I've got two little clip pieces here that will clip these to the adjacent pieces. And so they go in right here and here. And I've built up just a little bit around each of them with one additional 2x4 plate surrounding them like this, just to kind of give a little bit of a wave action, and so the connector pieces don't stand out that much. And then what I'm doing is I developed a pattern, and here is a completed piece where you can kind of see in the reflections, let me turn it this way, the wave pattern that goes around these connector pieces. And you see this one doesn't have the connector piece in it quite yet, but you do see the wave patterns here and here. And I would like to add a few additional maybe slopes and things like that for breaking waves. But for right now, the majority of the pieces that I'm going to add are just the patterns themselves. So in order to get going on this, I start by putting 3 markers down. Like this, and then 3 high. So those are going to be my starting points. And I start the waves like this. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that I've got a pile on each side, so I can actually do 2 hands at once, which is really speeding it up. And I come in with 4 pieces that way, and then I start offsetting until we get to the point where we have 8 across. Now you'll notice I have 4 here, and then 8 across. Well, once you put this up to an adjacent piece, it will have the 8 total across there. And down here, I'm going to do something very similar to this wave down here. Now this one will kind of go off into the ocean this way, so it's representative of a little bit of waves that are not necessarily included. Now we go up the additional 3 from there, and we start again with a third of the waves. That go across like that. And I actually did go through very many multiple scenarios of these before I decided what pattern I was going to use. And of course, you'll have to decide for yourself, based on the geometry of your build, what pattern you're going to want. I like this because the waves were very subtle, We didn't want it to look like it was stormy weather or anything like that. But I did want to have something that gave it a little more character. So I think it's actually pretty subtle here. Now you'll notice that this last wave goes right up against the seawall. Like that. Now I kind of struggled with where to go to next on this. And I kind of like the idea of interlocking it, except that or the pattern of bricks, except that it started looking a little brickish, like a brick wall. And so then I decided to, well, I looked at maybe doing a herringbone pattern, which has worked well in certain circumstances. And I finally decided what kind of looks best with these subtle waves is just a plain stacked pattern like this. When you get to the top here, you can see that sometimes it's maybe a little easier to place the tile and then kind of slide it in place, as you see I'm doing with these last few pieces there. So there you have it. There's the completed piece. And I'll go ahead and bring in the other piece here. And you can see how they interlock to form the seawall of the village that I have. And you get this nice subtle wave here all along the whole seawall. And it really has a good look when the light plays across it. And here is the finished wave pattern in the ocean surrounding my 3 islands of my village. You can see I think it turned out pretty well. Had to do a few modifications around the beach and the mountains, but for the most part it turned out to be a pretty consistent pattern.